Good morning, dear students and respected members. This is CA Pratik. I welcome you all to my YouTube channel, GST and Customs Act Fun Learning. Today, I'm going to discuss one of the most important topic of GST. It is about Rule 42, Section 17(1)(17)(2), Input Tax Credit for taxable and exempt supply. How this works. Now, this is very important for the inter and final CSCM students, and obviously for consultants and professionals. हम तो ये करते ही रहते हैं because of our clients, which are supplying taxable goods as well as exempt goods or services. Now, divide this topic in three parts. Part one, it will be Section 17(2), input tax credit specifically exclusively for exempt supply. Part 2 will be input tax credit exclusively for non-business purpose. And part 3, I will show you the working of Rule 42. Studies and illustrations that I have prepared. Please understand each and everything in detail. See this. Point number 1. Suppose Mr. Amir, he is a registered person, registered taxable person. He is purchasing raw material. He paid GST of rupees 50,000 on this raw material. He availed services. He paid GST of rupees 1,50,000 on this services. Okay, now what he did? Now, by utilizing this raw material and by utilizing this services, he manufactured taxable goods or he's supplying taxable services. See this. He's selling taxable goods or he's supplying taxable services to the customers. Now, on the supply, he collected GST of rupees 3 lakh. Understood? Now, what happened in this case? How much GST is collected on sale or outward supply? 3 lakh rupees. Correct? How much GST has already paid on raw materials? 50,000 rupees. That he will get as input tax credit. And how much GST has paid on services? So GST was 1,50,000. That also he will get what? Input tax credit. So finally, how much Mr. Amir will have to pay? 1 lakh. 3 lakh minus 50 minus 1,50,000. This is the basic understanding of input tax credit. Okay, so whatever GST has paid on raw material, whatever GST has paid on services, he will get what? Input tax credit. Okay, now the same example, let me explain you with different way. See this. Now, again, Mr. Amir is a registered taxable person. Okay, what he is doing? Again, is purchasing raw material. He paid GST of rupees 50,000. Very good. ITC is allowed. He availed services. He paid GST of 1,50,000. ITC is allowed. Now, through utilizing raw material and through utilizing services, he manufactured exempt goods, or you can say nil rated goods, non-taxable goods, and is selling this exempt good to the customer, or he is supplying exempt services to the customers. Now think about it. My outward supply is exempt. So what government will tell to me? You are not collecting GST on outward supply. You are supplying exempt goods or exempt services. There is no GST on outward supply. Amir is never going to collect GST. So what the provision says? If the registered person is not going to collect GST on outward supply, whatever GST has paid on raw material, say 50,000, whatever GST has paid on services, say 1,50,000, both this input tax credit, it won't be allowed. It won't be allowed. Why? Because outward supply is exempt, nil rated. So purchase पे services पे आपने जो भी GST भरा है, you will not get ITC of it. आपको कोई भी input tax credit नहीं मिलेगा. ये ध्यान रखना. Okay, so if your outward supply is taxable, you will get all the ITC. But if your outward supply is exempt, you will not get ITC paid on raw material or GST paid on services. कोई भी input tax credit नहीं मिलेगा. Okay, ये सिर्फ basic understanding है. अभी Rule 42 आया भी नहीं है. चलो. Now next point. See, let me explain in detail. Any registered person, if he's supplying exempt goods, or you can say nil rated goods, non-GST goods or service, or non-taxable goods or service, any such goods or service on which GST is not applicable, so he's not going to collect GST on outward supply. So what government says? Whatever GST has paid on inputs, whatever GST has paid on input services, that shall not be allowed as per Rule 42, Section 70. Okay, so if you are not going to collect GST on outward supply, you will not get any input tax credit. Fair? Chalo. Now understand one more example. Suppose Amir is a registered person in GST. Say, for example, is running a school. Now, school service, school fees is exempt under GST. On school, there is no GST on school fees. So say school fees earned is exempt supply, like rupees 5 crore. So Amir has earned rupees 5 crore, which is not subjected to GST. But Amir is also running classes. Now classes कोई favor नहीं कर रहा. So classes की जो भी income होती है, that is taxable supply. So say classes fees earned is 15 crore. Now think and answer. Suppose from this supplier, Mr. Amir purchased material ABC exclusively for school. That means exclusively for exempt supply. This it purchased. Mr. Amir paid GST of rupees 10,000. GST applicable tha. Will Amir get input tax credit of this 10,000? This material is exclusively used for exempt supply. What do you think? Correct. Answer is since GST is utilized for exempt supply. School fees पे GST आने नहीं वाला. इसलिए आमिर ने whatever GST is paid on purchase that shall not be allowed as input tax credit. So this 10,000 he will not get as ITC. But understand one more point. Now from the same supplier, Amir purchased material PQR, say another material which is exclusively used for taxable supply classes. On this material PQR, Amir paid GST of 25,000. Now will this 25,000 be allowed as ITC? ये मटेरियल सिर्फ एंड सिर्फ एक्सक्लूसिवली टैक्सेबल सप्लाई के लिए यूज हुआ है. Will this 25,000 be allowed? Answer is yes. Why? GST paid of 25,000 is allowed as input tax. Why? Because this material is exclusively used for taxable supply classes. Okay, so ये 25,000 का ITC he will get it. Okay, now understand the main point. Now comes the crux of this. Suppose Amir is again running school. School income is exempt supply 5 crore rupees. No GST on 5 crore. But along with this, Amir is also running classes. Classes fees is taxable, say for example 15 crore. So Amir is supplying exempt service as well as taxable service. Now listen what happened. Amir purchased one software for rupees 1 crore and he paid GST of rupees 18 lakh. Now the same software is being used for school also. बच्चों का अकाउंटिंग स्कूल के बच्चों का भी अकाउंटिंग इन सेम सॉफ्टवेयर एंड द सेम सॉफ्टवेयर इज बीइंग यूज्ड फॉर क्लासेस आल्सो क्लासेस के किड्स का भी अकाउंटिंग इन सेम सॉफ्टवेयर सो द सॉफ्टवेयर is being used for taxable supply and the software is being used for exempt supply. My query to all of you, can Amir avail entire input tax credit of 18 lakh? Should Amir disallow entire ITC of 18 lakh or can he take proportionately? Think about it. Think about it. Answer is what? Proportionately. If you are using your input service for using taxable supply also and it is being used for exempt supply also, आपको पूरा input tax credit नहीं मिलता. You will get proportionately. Now, how the proportion works? Listen. That is given in Rule 42. Certain proportion shall be disallowed. How much? Understand. Whatever total ITC was there into exempt turnover for the month, divide by total turnover for the month, that much ITC shall be disallowed. So how much was total ITC? 18 lakh. पूरा तो नहीं मिलेगा. How much was exempt turnover? 5 crores. How much was total turnover? 20 crores. So out of 18 lakh, 4 lakh 50 Amir shall be disallowed. Proportionately in the ratio of turnover. In the ratio of turnover. So how much ITC shall be allowed? Out of 18 lakh, 4 lakh 50 is disallowed. So 13 lakh 50 shall be allowable ITC. So that is given in section 17.2, rule 42. This will be there for your clients. Many clients are manufacturing taxable good, exempt goods, and the students, this is going to be asked in exam. Okay, so 13 lakh 50 is the correct answer. Understood? So suppose registered person is supplying exempt goods also and taxable goods and service also. Every month you have to do this work. I repeat, every month you have to calculate whatever raw material you have purchased. Say you have paid GST of 50,000. Whatever services you have purchased, you have paid GST of 1 lakh 50. And suppose you are supplying taxable goods of 20 crore. On that I am collecting GST. And you are supplying exempt goods of say 30 crore. No GST. because it is exempt. Now this raw material and service, same raw material and service are being used for taxable supply as well as exempt supply. So you cannot avail entire ITC. ITC proportionately करेंगे. He cannot claim entire input tax credit. He can claim proportionately in the ratio of turnover, which is explained in Rule 42. कैसे working करोगे? Total ITC. Input tax credit was how much? On raw material, 50,000. On services, it was 1,50,000. So our total ITC was how much? 2 lakh. इसका टर्नओवर के रेशियो के हिसाब से आईटीसी डिसअलाउ होगा. सो 2 लाख इनटू एग्जाम टर्नओवर 30 crore divide by total turnover 50 crore. So 2 lakh into 3 by 5, 1 lakh 20 shall be disallowed. 80,000 shall be allowable ITC. So this is how you need to do every single month. Every single month you have to do this working. Okay, now registered person every month has to disallow such common ITC for the relevant month in the ratio of exempt turnover divided by total turnover. There is one apprehension here. What if turnover is not available for the month? किसी किसी मंथ में टर्नओवर जीरो हो सकता है, तो क्या करोगे? कैसे रेशियो लाओगे? How will you do the ratio? In that scenario, you have to consider turnover of the preceding month or preceding months in which such turnover details are available. Okay, so if the current month turnover details are not available, go in the preceding month or preceding months in which the turnover details are available. And accordingly, you need to do the working. Okay, that was 17.2. That was first part when our ITC is used for taxable supply as well as exempt supply. Now comes section 17.1 part 2. Understand this point. Suppose I am a registered dealer. I'm running my office also and I have my home also. Now, what I did, I purchased certain raw materials. Okay, GST I paid on it from my office, obviously, 50,000 rupees. Now this happens, huh? What I did, I utilized this raw material for my office also, and the same raw material I am utilizing for my home also. It happens. Many times such things happen. So what I am doing, these inputs are being used for business purpose also, and the same inputs are being used for non-business purpose also. Similarly, certain services are there. There are then certain services. What I'm doing, I'm paying this entire GST from my office, 75,000, because I want to claim ITC. But certain service I'm using for my office and certain I've used for my residential purpose. So what I did, the same input service are used for being business also, and the same input service are being used for non-business also. Can I take full ITC? Answer is no. See how this will work. If your inputs and input service are used for business as well as non-business purpose, your common ITC, this common input tax credit, whatever is there, 50 plus 75,000, this is your common ITC, which is used for business purpose also, which is used for non-business purpose also. So this 1,25,000 is your common ITC. You cannot take full. You have to reverse certain proportion. Now, what is the proportion? There is no turnover. Answer is what you know. As per 17.1, whatever your total ITC is there, common total ITC into 5%. Just 5% you need to reverse. So out of 1,25,000, 5% shall be deemed to be assumed as used for non-business purpose. So rupees 6250 shall be reversed. So this is section 17.1. If your inputs are being used for business purpose and the same inputs are being used for non-business purpose, 5% of that common ITC, 5% of that common ITC you are required to reverse. Okay, so suppose if raw material or services are being used for business as well as non-business purpose, you cannot claim full ITC. Out of the common ITC, what section says? You have to reverse 5%, maximum 5% shall be reversed. It is deemed to be assumed that such 5% is utilized for non-business purpose. Okay, so even auditors, be very careful. Such things happen in office, and the students, it will be asked in your exam. This is a now, let me explain both of this section through a case study. Please understand this. Please understand this. Suppose I am a registered dealer. I am supplying textbooks. Sell kar raha hu textbook. Textbook is exempt under GST. So it's an exempt supply. My turnover of exempt supply is 5 crore. Be very attentive in this. And now I'm also selling notebooks. Now, notebooks is not exempt. Notebooks is subjected to GST. So it's a taxable supply. That is 20 crores. So my total turnover is 25 crores. Clear? Now what happened? I purchased raw material A. This is used exclusively for textbooks. Means exempt supply. Correct? I paid GST of 5,000. Then I purchased raw material B. This is utilized for my home non-business purpose. I paid GST of 8,000. Then I purchased a car. You know, car, whatever GST you pay, it is blocked under section 17(5). Rupees 12,000. I purchased raw material C. Now, this raw material C is utilized exclusively for notebooks. Means it is exclusively for taxable supply, fully allowed. GST pay I have paid, say 15,000. And finally, I purchased raw material E. Now, this raw material E is used for exempt supply also, textbooks, and taxable supply also, notebooks. And it is utilized for non-business as well as business purpose. Everything, this raw material. So this is a common GST ITC. GST paid is 25,000. I cannot take this full, proportionately. Okay, now let us understand how we will work out. Chalo, see, first, how much ITC can I take in this case? See this. How much ITC? Suppose raw material A, it was used how much? Exclusively for textbooks. This raw material A was exclusively used for exempt supply. And since it is used for exempt supply, whatever GST I have paid, I will not be allowed. Because this is exclusively for exempt supply. ये ITC मुझे मिलेगा ही नहीं. Gone. Okay, so raw material A पे whatever 5,000 I have paid, it is not allowed. Now this raw material B, it is exclusively used for non-business, यार personal purpose है. So whatever GST I have paid, it is not allowed. Since it is for non-business purpose, whatever GST 8,000 I have paid shall be disallowed. So raw material B भी गया. Now I purchased a car. Whatever GST you paid, it is blocked under 17(5), block credit. ये तो luxury है, थोड़ी necessity है. So जो भी आप कार पे GST भरते हो, you don't get ITC. So whatever GST of 12,000 you have paid, that is also disallowed. Gone. Now comes raw material C. This is exclusively used for notebooks, means taxable supply. So ये तो taxable supply के लिए use हुआ. Since it is exclusively for taxable supply, whatever GST are paid, it shall be fully allowed. Fully allowed. So ये 15,000 I should be fully allowed. Okay, but it is not common. This is not common. It is fully allowed. ये reverse नहीं करना, ये तो पूरा allowed. Okay, so right now I'm hiding it. Remember, it's 15,000. Now comes raw material E. See this. Raw material E is a common ITC used for taxable as well as exempt supply. Textbook, notebook, दोनों के लिए use हुआ. Hence, this is a common ITC. You have to reverse certain proportion. You cannot avail entire 25,000. Certain proportion you have to reverse as per section 17(1) as well as 17(2). So first let us do by 17(2). Okay, how much was my common ITC? How much was my common ITC? Into exempt turnover, divide by total turnover, that much ITC shall be disallowed. So my common ITC was say 25,000, you can see. Into my exempt turnover was how much? 5 crore. Total turnover is how much? 5 plus 20, 25 crore. So how much ITC shall be disallowed? Rupees 5,000. 5,000 का ITC shall be assumed used for exempt supply. इतना disallow हो जाएगा. Correct? And now as per 17(1), business and non-business. What did I tell you? If your ITC, if your inputs is used for business as well as non-business purpose, you cannot claim full. Certain proportion is disallowed. How much? Common ITC ka 5% shall be disallowed. So what is your common ITC? Again, same 25,000 into 5%. Rupees 1,250 shall be disallowed. So how much your total ITC got disallowed? Out of the common ITC of 25,000, 5,000 got reversed because of 17(2). 1,250 will get reversed because of 17(1). So in short, out of 25,000, 6,250 ITC is reversed. Balance 18,750 you can avail. Only balance 18,750 you can avail. Okay, so now how much registered dealer can take ITC? ये जो raw material E पे था 18,750, that he can take. Final ITC 18,750 can take, plus that raw material C This was exclusively used for taxable supply. ये भी तो पूरा मिलेगा 15,000. So how much total ITC can claim? 33,750. Okay, so consultants, auditors, we need to do this work. We have to identify exempt goods, exempt service, and we need to do this working for our GST audit. And students, such case studies are coming in exam. So now you have just few days left for the exam. Please refer this. There are few more case studies which I will do. Now, how this is given in Act. The same example I will explain through Act. Rule 42, how they have given. They have mentioned T, T1C. In GST Act, it is given, say T. T is given as total input tax credit. जो भी आपका total ITC, eligible, non-eligible, common, etc. everything. Total ITC, say GA 1 lakh rupees. T1 वो ITC है which is exclusively used for non-business purpose. Non-business, personal purpose. Disallow हो जाएगा 5,000 exclusively. T2 वो ITC है which is exclusively utilized for exempt supply. Exclusively utilized for school textbooks, etc. This will also be disallowed. This is given as T2. T3 is that GST paid which is blocked under 17.5 car and luxury and all. 17.5, 5,000. This will also be disallowed. T4 is that GST that you have paid which is exclusively for taxable supply. This will be fully allowed, but this is not common. Fully allowed, 25,000. So what is your common? Your common ITC will be T minus T1 minus T2 minus T3 minus T4. Common sense, 50,000. So when you reduce, this is your common ITC. This 50,000 you need to divide in the ratio of turnover. So how will you do? ITC to be disallowed out of this common ITC. First you will do 17.2. This is known as D1. Remember the terms. Common ITC into exempt turnover divide by total turnover. ये ITC आपका disallow हो जाएगा. And then there is 17.1 non-business business that is known as D2. This will be how much? Common ITC into 5%. So how much your total ITC got disallowed? D1, 17.2 plus D2, 17.1. This much ITC shall be disallowed out of the common ITC. Out of the common ITC. This much ITC shall be disallowed. Okay, now comes part 3. You have understood 17.2, 17.1. Let us do 2 case studies. Then you will understand this rule 42. Most important. See this. Suppose I am a registered dealer. This is T. Total ITC is say 5 lakh rupees. Okay. T1. Exclusively some ITC out of 5 lakh. Out of 5 lakh, some ITC was exclusively used for non-business purpose. Say rupees 1 lakh. Okay. T2. Out of 5 lakh, some ITC was such which was exclusively used for exempt supply. ये भी तो नहीं मिलेगा 50,000. Out of 5 lakh, some ITC was blocked under 17.5, 50,000 rupees. Okay. And out of 5 lakh, some ITC was exclusively used for taxable supply. T4, ये पूरा मिलेगा 2 lakh rupees. And whatever balance is there, 1 lakh is a common ITC, which is used for taxable as well as exempt supply. So this is a bifurcation of 5 lakh rupees. Now, total turnover for the month is 10 lakh rupees. Taxable supply is 4 lakh and exempt supply is 6 lakh rupees. So every bifurcation is given to you. Now we need to calculate how much is the eligible ITC that I can take for this particular month. I cannot take entire 5 lakh. How much out of 5 lakh shall be eligible ITC? Chalo, let's solve together. T, as I told you, is total ITC. You have to do this way in exam, and consultants also, please, whenever you guide your client, you have to explain it this way. T is your total ITC 5 lakh rupees. Less T1. T1 is what? ITC exclusively utilized for non-business purpose. Non-business, personal purpose, मिलेगा ही नहीं. Reverse करो इतना. So 1 lakh is gone. T2 is ITC exclusively utilized for exempt supply. ये भी तो नहीं मिलेगा. So this is exempt supply. No GST on outward supply. So this 50,000 जो भी GST भरा, you will not get. T3 is GST that you have paid exclusively blocked under 70. It is block credit. You are not going to get this ITC. So ये भी 50,000 gone. T4 is ITC which is fully allowed because it is exclusively for taxable supply. ये तो पूरा मिलेगा, but this is not common. So right now I'm reducing it. 2 lakh. So T1 minus T2 minus T3 minus T4, this 1 lakh is the common ITC which is used for exempt supply as well as taxable supply, which is used for business purpose as well as non-business purpose. Okay, now ITC to be disallowed. Calculate D1, 17 to D1 is what? Your common ITC into exempt turnover divided by total turnover. ये ITC हट जाएगा आपका. So what is your common ITC? 1 lakh rupees. What is your exempt turnover? 6 lakh rupees. Total turnover 10 lakh rupees. So out of 1 lakh, D1 17(2) says 60,000 shall be disallowed. ये तो गए. Fair enough. And D2, because it is utilized for my non-business purpose also. Out of the common ITC, 5% deemed to be utilized for non-business. So common ITC is 1 lakh into 5%. 5,000 shall be further disallowed. So how much your total ITC got disallowed? D1 plus D2. So ITC 65,000 1 lakh में से गया. Only 35,000 you are going to get. Only 1 lakh में से 65 will be reversed. 35 you are going to get it. So final ITC, how much you are going to get? फॉर द इनपुट जो कॉमन था टैक्सेबल एग्जाम बिजनेस नॉन बिजनेस उसमें से 1 लाख माइनस 65,000 35,000 ओनली यू आर गोइंग टू गेट प्लस एक T4 था ना जो आईटीसी एक्सक्लूसिवली फॉर किसके लिए था बिजनेस पर्पस दिस वाज T4 2 लाख रुपीस ये भी पूरा मिलेगा सो हाउ मच आई एम गोइंग टू गेट टोटल एलिजिबल आईटीसी 2,35,000 2,35,000 क्लियर remember this tough point. Please remember Rule 42. Rule 42, Section 17(1), 17(2). Every single month you need to do this working. When your client is supplying taxable goods and service as well as exempt goods and services. Please do this working. Okay? And there is one more case study to see this. Suppose I'm a registered dealer. My total ITC for the month is 25 lakh. Out of 25 lakh, certain ITC was for non-business purpose, 5 lakh. ये तो मिलेगा ही नहीं. Out of 25 lakh, certain ITC was for exempt supply, 2 lakh. Exclusively for exempt, नहीं मिलेगा. T3, certain was blocked under 17(5), works, contract or anything. This is also blocked, 3 lakh rupees. And there was one ITC out of 25 lakh, which is exclusively used for taxable supply. This was 3 lakh. This I am going to get fully. Now, when you will reduce everything, you will get what? Common ITC. I'm not giving that in this sum. Okay. Total turnover is 10 crores for the month. My taxable turnover is say 8 crore and exempt turnover is say 2 crore for the month. I want you people to calculate how much is the eligible ITC for the registered recipient. Try. See this. T is my total ITC. पूरे month का जो भी ITC था, whether eligible, ineligible, it's okay. 25 lakh. Okay. Out of this T1, out of 25 lakh, T1 certain ITC was for non-business. ये तो मिलेगा ही नहीं. Reverse कर देते 5 lakh. Out of 25 lakh, T2 certain ITC was exclusively for exempt supply. ये भी तो नहीं मिलेगा. Let's reverse this 2 lakh. And T3 out of this certain ITC was blocked under 17(5). So ये 3 lakh भी हट गया. And T4 that is ITC exclusively for taxable supply. This you are going to get fully. But right now I'm reducing because this is not common. So this 3 lakh will also be reduced. So T minus T1 minus T2 minus T3 minus T4, you will get your common ITC which is 12 lakh. This 12 lakh is utilized for taxable supply as well as exempt supply. And this 12 lakh is utilized for business as well as non-business purpose. Now calculate how much you are required to reverse. 17 to D1. What is your common ITC? 12 lakh into exempt turnover divided by total turnover. So that 12 lakh into exempt turnover is 2 crore divided by total turnover is 10 crore. So 2 lakh 40 shall be reversed as per D1 17(2). And there is D2 17(1) which says common ITC into 5%. This will be reversed because it is utilized for non-business purpose. So out of 12 lakh, 5% shall be further reversed, which comes to 60,000. So D1 plus D2, how much I am required to reverse? 3 lakh rupees. So out of 12 lakh, 3 lakh का ITC shall be deemed to be reversed. आपको reverse करना ही पड़ेगा. GST return. So what is your final eligible ITC? Out of this common ITC which was used for taxable, exempt, etc. Your 12 lakh was the common ITC. उसमें से 3 lakh shall be reversed. So 9 lakh shall be eligible. Plus there was T4 which was exclusively used for taxable supply. ये भी तो पूरा मिलेगा 3 lakh. So the assessee registered dealer will get 12 lakh total ITC. Clear? Okay, so this was our rule 42. Very, very important. Consultants, auditors, we need to do this for our clients and customers क्योंकि ये उनको पता ही नहीं. No one is reversing it. Many of my clients had not done. So now we are guiding them. And the students, for CM especially, आपको एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. Even objective you have to get. Understood? So, thank you so much, each and everyone. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. I request you to share with maximum people so that वो जो students हो, especially उनको exam में useful हो, and consultants and auditors को भी help हो जाए. Thank you so much, each and everyone. ऐसे में एक rule 43 करके within 2-3 days I will upload, which is for capital goods. Okay, so if you like, please subscribe the channel and share it with maximum people. Goodbye. Take care.